Many thanks for watching and staying tuned. This is still Breakfast Central on News Central. Now, on Friday, which is tomorrow, October 1st, 2021, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, will launch a centralized and regulated digital currency called E-Naira. Now, we have Joseph Bennett from our news desk to tell us the latest in the world of business. Good morning, Bennett.
Good morning.
Tell us really, what is this E-Naira?
Okay, so another way to rephrase your question would be, what is not the E-Naira? So, first off, the E-Naira is not a cryptocurrency. Put simply, the E-Naira is the digital version of the fiat currency we use here in Nigeria, which is the Naira. So basically, its introduction is in a bid to achieve financial inclusion and, of course, to achieve a swifter way to pay for products and, of course, services here in Nigeria. But it's important to say that it's not a cryptocurrency as a lot of people think. And of course, the central bank is working with a fintech company in Barbados known as Bit Inc. to bring about this digital currency, the E-Naira. So essentially, because they are partnering with Bit Inc. Corporation, Bit Inc. will be required to register as a limited liability company here in Nigeria, and the central bank is going to have to buy some stake and some shares in Bit Inc. as a Nigerian business, so that the central bank can have a stake as to how operations are carried out in relation to how the E-Naira is being put out. But it's important to state that it's not a cryptocurrency as many people think. So the value of the E-Naira, for instance, will be the equivalent of the value of the Naira to the dollar. So currently, the Naira to the dollar, the central bank level stands at about 411 or thereabout, at the parallel market around 530 or thereabout. So the E-Naira will still have the value of the fiat currency we use, which is the Naira. So it's not a cryptocurrency, and it's not supposed to appreciate in value as most people think.
All right, but still a digital currency all the same, but somehow a thought about Barbados involved in this one makes me think about beach houses, and good results. But on a more serious note, Bennett, what will be the impact of introducing this E-Naira to the Nigerian economy, especially coming from this our same CBN?
Okay, so the interesting thing is that Nigeria is not the only country considering to put out digital currency. Ghana are very good friends. They are also trying to put out what they call the ECD. So one of the impacts is going to have, according to the central bank, is that payment, transaction, and all of that becomes very easy and swifter in terms of paying for products, goods, and services. It's swift, and of course, it's going to achieve financial inclusion. Nigeria has about 50% of our population unbanked, so it's important for a lot of Nigerians to come into the financial transaction system. Another thing it's going to achieve is that it's going to cut costs, right? So for the bank, for instance, for the central bank, for instance, it costs a lot of money to print out paper money, right, and to move it around. So it's going to cost a lot to continue in that dynamic. So the central bank will be cutting down costs if more of our currencies go digital rather than having to be printed as a paper currency. And also for those of us who have to make use of the digital currency, the federal government is trying to achieve a cashless economy. So that's one of the things that the E-Naira is going to achieve. But there are concerns, because one of the major concerns is, will the central bank begin to compete with the commercial banks? Because don't forget that the E-Naira wallet at the beginning, as it launches tomorrow, will be managed by the central bank. So it is later on the commercial banks will come in and, of course, begin to integrate the whole idea of E-Naira and the E-Naira wallet into their operations. But for now, the entire E-Naira conversation will be managed by the central bank. But there's also a big question, because the E-Naira means that there will be a lot of centralized information. All your biodata will be in the hands of the federal government, and God help us if all of those information is compromised. And don't forget that the central bank will be working with, like I said, I call them Bit Inc. in Barbados to achieve the E-Naira. So there's a sharing of information between the central bank and, of course, the fintech company in Barbados, Bit Inc. What happens if our information gets compromised, which is where cryptocurrency comes in, because the entire conversation of cryptocurrency is to decentralize information, right? So once again, it is important that I reiterate that these are just some of the concerns about the E-Naira. But of course, I'm going to use it because of maybe for science purpose to see how it plays out. A lot of people are also praying that the E-Naira wallet should have a very good user interface. But it's important to say that the E-Naira is not a cryptocurrency, because for a currency to qualify as cryptocurrency, it needs to adhere to certain principles. I think there are about 4. There's a peer-to-peer communication, there is the principle of cryptography, there is also the principle of punishment and reward, and there's the principle of consensus algorithm, which means that there's a rule that guides the transaction when it comes to a cryptocurrency. So Nigerians need to know that the E-Naira, it's not a cryptocurrency. It is the digital version of the Naira you have in your wallet, in your purse, in your bag. It is just a digital version of the money. So the government says it will help us to make swift and faster transactions. But whether or not there will be charges here and there when we are making those transactions, that is yet to be seen. So we look forward to see how it all plays out. But of course, I'll be here to bring you up to speed with all of those conversations.
Right, Bennett, before we let you go, I mean, you've said some of the pros, I mean, how it will be, how CBN will make it beneficial. But really, what soft landing do we have in terms of E-Naira for citizens? Let's not forget that if you go to the marketplace, cashless doesn't really work. We're still cash-based heavily. We haven't fully accepted the cashless policy, as it were. Go to the international airport, Bennett. I can tell you first-hand experience that you still need cash to do a lot of transactions at even the international airport.
I mean,
soft landing.
How do we even roll it out?
How?
Because
Like,
tomorrow is the 1st of October. So maybe this is CBN's happy 61 birthday to Nigerians. So take e-currency or whatever the case.
Yeah,
So
I mean, those are the issues, because one of the challenges will be infrastructure. Do we have the infrastructure to float the E-Naira? Do we have the literacy capacity? Are people educated enough to key into the concept of the E-Naira? And don't forget that the E-Naira will be in an e-wallet, right? So, and the e-wallet, you might have to navigate through certain terms and conditions here and there. Do our people have the education to read through those terms and understand how to go about it, to see how the E-Naira can be beneficial? But again, we look forward to see how it all plays out. And the federal government says, because of the time frame, don't forget that the E-Naira is launching tomorrow. So the federal government is putting out what it calls a speed wallet, right? So that they can be in control of the entire process. But in the second phase of this entire rollout of the E-Naira and the digital currency, commercial banks will come in to integrate the E-Naira into their own operations, just like what you have in your various bank mobile apps. So let's see how it develops. But I think it's the first step forward for the Nigerian government to begin to accept the conversation of cryptocurrency, because honestly, that is where the conversation is tilting towards.
All right, thank you so much, our business correspondent, Joseph Bennett, for really educating us on this one. But I'll say, hold on to your wallets, bro. Thank you again.
Of course.
Well, still to come right here on Breakfast Central.